Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball Z figure news video. I know, a figure news actually going up on a Sunday, it's a miracle. Yes, this weekend finally was not too busy for me, and I actually have some free time to film one of these videos, which I am very excited about. And not only that, we actually have a ton of figure news to cover. I know, I feel like every single figure news video I'm like, oh, you know, it's really not that much, we got a couple of things, and then it ends up being like 2 hours long. No, bro, we got a lot to cover this time, so we're going to hop into it here. Lots of prize figures, a brand new ICHIBAN Kuji to look at, and actually some things that I didn't even see released until I literally looked at this page here on dbzfigures.com, which is where we're going to be starting today. Now, for figures, we're obviously starting with this bad boy right here. Ooh, I have not actually seen this at all. This, if you are unaware, is another one of these limited edition official Dragon Ball Z resin statues. I assume that what happened is that they kind of, well, saw the market for resin statues. This was like, hey, we could make some of those, but they haven't been doing the best because they're really overpriced, and it seems to be the same with this one. So let's read here. This was covered on the official Dragon Ball site last week, but there wasn't much information. But the Big Bad Toy Store has this for pre-order for $1,199.99 with a $180 non-refundable deposit. Ouch! Yeah, I honestly think that that's why these aren't doing so well. I have literally seen basically no coverage of these figures. To be fair, I guess I haven't really looked up a YouTube unboxing of this figure myself. That might not be such a bad idea to take a look at it and see the actual quality, but from the final pictures, I just wasn't even really interested in it. From the last two, obviously, we had the Goku where you could put all the different heads on him, and the Vegeta as well, where I believe he had a couple of different heads. Anyhow, the release date is the first quarter of 2022. Interesting. We don't cover statues on here much, but there are quite a few, mostly made by Chinese companies, and there's a YouTuber who reviews a lot of them here. He hasn't posted anything new in a while, so hopefully it's just a lack of statues and nothing happened to him. Is it V Collector? Yes, I love this guy actually. He makes fantastic content. Why am I not on that? There we go. Anyhow, yes, he makes good stuff for sure. So here we have some images of the statue. This is going to be interesting to take a look at. So I guess we just open these in a new tab, and that's how we're going to take a look at it. Obviously, this is Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Majin Buu. Very interesting because obviously up until now, it seems like the company that has been making these, I believe it's Prime 1 Studio and Mega House, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly off the top of my head. Regardless, it looks to be a versus statue this time around, which may actually fare a little bit better. We'll have to see, because obviously their last runs were just Goku, just Vegeta, and no one else in there, right? This does look pretty cool from just this angle. Obviously this is, oh, okay, so this is actually by a different company this time. This is by Soul Wing, but this is an officially licensed statue rather than, you know, a lot of the other resins in the game are, of course, you know, third-party knockoffs. Doesn't mean they're bad necessarily. This does look good. I like the effects so far. Obviously, though, not worth that price. Ooh, I do like that light-up feature as well. That's really cool. I will be interested to see more pictures of this. This face, see, that's the other thing when it comes to resin statues for me. Funny enough, there are a couple of resin statue companies that are third party that I think knock it out of the park every single time. Figure Class by far being on the top of that list. I think that their resin statues are the best in the game personally. There's a couple of other companies, but this doesn't look too bad. Like, this certainly isn't the worst figure face that I've ever seen, especially for resin, because I feel like even if it's official, I'm always setting my expectations a little bit lower for resin statues than I am with normal prize figures. But this doesn't look the worst, but it's definitely not 1K worth. And Boo's face looks okay. Something about it still looks a little bit, his, like, the side of his head looks almost a little bit too crunched, and his facial features look a little bit too big, if I do say so myself. Definitely not a bad looking statue, though. Again, I have seen much, much worse, and I really love the effects that they have going on here. I will be interested to see what they continue to do with that bad boy in the future. I guess we'll have to wait and see to get more images of that. Now, we do have the August figure release schedule here. Of course, there are plenty of places you can pre-order these guys. We have taken a look at these figures so many times by this point, but as you can see, our stinky Trunks figures. I am really disappointed how these came out. It seems like everybody was, because obviously armored Trunks figures are kind of far and few in between. I think the only other one that we have is a Resolution of Soldiers one, which, to be fair, is a fantastic figure, but nonetheless, it's obviously always cool to get more. And yeah, kind of a shame how these guys turned out. We have the, wait, did they really call this Raised on Earth Son Goku? I guess that's just kind of coincidence that that is also the name of the SH Figuarts Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. I guess that's a little bit different, but still very similar name convention. We've also taken a look at these guys, and please don't buy these. And goated, the Wafer capsule figures. Definitely trying to cop that Super Vegeta if I can. If I can find it on eBay for cheap, I'll definitely get it. Obviously, the Heroes card pack coming up. We have the Dragon Ball Average Premium version limited. This guy I am really excited for. Obviously, this is SH Figuarts Cooler. I believe that he's out in Japan this month, and then next month is when he comes to the States, if I am remembering that correctly. We also have the release of the SH Figuarts Zero Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I am also actually pretty excited to see how this guy turns out, for better or for worse. This is going to be the first Figuarts Zero figure that I don't actually pre-order, which is crazy because Super Saiyan 3 is my favorite form, and I love the Dragon Fist. And I think the Dragon looks fantastic, but we've talked about this figure extensively on the channel before. Just not the biggest fan. And after the Gogeta incident with Figuarts Zero, I refuse to buy this line. With SH Figuarts, we obviously have the Rose Goku Black. That'll also be very cool because obviously he is a more basic re-release of the Comic-Con exclusive one. We have the boy, the BOS Kaioken Goku. Cannot wait to cop that figure. Of course, the Glitter and Glam Videl, another figure I am very excited for. You stinky boys. Solid Edgeworks Goku, which, as much as I'm not really excited for it, again, a good looking figure. We took a pretty extensive look at him on last week's episode. And of course, we have the plush Purunga, which I would love to get at some point, but obviously plushes seem to be a little bit harder to come by. Maybe it's just because I don't look for them as often as I do figures on eBay and other third-party sites and stuff like that, but just kind of seems that way to me. Now, this one is actually a little bit of a sad case, I'm not gonna lie, which you're kind of probably thinking, now hold on, wait a minute, sad case. This is Kepler. Look, it's Kepler, bro. This is the figure that you were like ultra mega excited for just a couple of weeks ago. Let's read through the details and then we'll kind of take a look at, oh boy. So just announced the Kepler SH Figuarts will be available for pre-order on Premium Bandai USA. It looks like there are actually still pre-orders available at the time of this recording, which is fantastic. I actually did pre-order 2 copies of this figure. I kind of regret doing that considering that it's still in stock, but hey, live and learn. I guess I'll just keep one on the shelf and one in the box. So if you would like to pre-order this, it will maybe still be up on Premium Bandai. Obviously, you know, go check it out because, of course, when I'm recording this will be different from when I upload it. But this figure will cost $62. I do agree, a bit high, but Premium Bandai figures always tend to be a little bit higher for honestly no good reason. Like, there are sometimes times when I'm like, okay, yeah, I think that was definitely, like, worth it, but for a lot of the Premium Bandai SH Figuarts figures, I always tend to feel like that they're way too overpriced. But I don't know. You can, you know, comment on that in the comments. I think most people do agree with that sentiment, though. But it's kind of just like, it is what it is type of thing. So with this figure, it will come with the main body, 2 face plates, 2 left hands, 4 right hands, an energy effect part, an attack effect part, and exchangeable foldable arms. Description: Super Saiyan Kepler is finally released from SH Figuarts brand. Kepler is fused by the Batara of Caulifla and Kale, who appeared in the Universe Survival Saga from Dragon Ball Super. An exchangeable facial expressions and exchangeable hands, an energy effect part, blah, blah, blah. I gotta say that the pose with the gigantic burst actually looks pretty cool, but most likely will require a stand of some sort of pose. Also, since the head is much bigger than the rest of the body, I have a feeling this may have toppled over issues like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let me know if you plan to get this. Currently on the fence, but the Tournament of Power figures would feel complete or incomplete without her. So here's the thing. Obviously this figure looks a little bit different than what we saw at the Dragon Ball at Home, you know, figure thing that we took a look at a little while ago. I'm sorry, the exact name of it is escaping me. Virtual Comic-Con, right? I feel like that's not correct, but either way, the virtual presentation that we walked through and we took a look at the figure. So it was the figure that the Kepler was in the title for, the video Kepler was in the title for. So the overall body doesn't look too bad, but what did they do to her forehead, bro? This does not look like the original at all, and I don't know how they did this so bad. Like, you could literally land a plane on that forehead. Oops, I just dropped something I was holding in my hand. It's crazy how absolutely goofy they decided to make this head sculpt. It's one of those things where it's like, usually SH Figuarts figures does not fumble the bag, and they rarely do, but I feel like this is one of those instances where they definitely fumble the bag. I'm hoping the figure looks better in person, but as it stands right now, some of these shots look really good. Like, I like this one a lot, right? Like with the folded arms here, like the face fits very well with that. I think it's also because the chin is tilted down a little bit. But then you get to this shot right here, and I will say, let me kind of give you two sides to this coin. For one, I absolutely love the effect pieces here. That is part of the reason why I'm buying this figure, because the effects are so cool. This is awesome. This also kind of stinks for me too, because now I almost feel obligated to get the Ultra Instinct Omen event exclusive, and that thing is really overpriced now and kind of hard to get your hands on. To be fair, it may have gone down a little bit more because they did re-release a little bit at the Santa Monica Tamashii Nations pop-up shop, so maybe it's gone down a little bit, but probably not. So I don't know, maybe I'll just have to have Kepler fight Vegeta. We'll see how that goes. But I love the effect pieces. I love the way that they did that. But look at the way her head is shaped, like on the actual figure and also on the green here. There's just something about it that I don't really know how to describe it. It just doesn't look correct to me. It's a really hard, like, thing to describe why I don't like it. I guess it's just the shape of her cranium, because it's like even this shot doesn't look as bad as this one, and I do like this effect part that they did include here, but like something about that, maybe it's just the angle, I don't know. Her forehead is really big, bro. Like, this is so weird, right? Like, these two shots look really good, if I do say so myself, but this shot just looks I don't know, man. It is a very weird kind of thing that we're looking at here, because I feel like those first two are like practically perfect, but then the last one is just not that good. Maybe it is just the screaming face sculpt, which honestly, if that's the case, then I'll just keep the gritting teeth or the smirking face on there, since those look infinitely better. Like, I've done that with SH Figuarts figures in the past, where even if I kind of feel like that the facial expression doesn't really fit the scene, just because I think that it looks better on the character, I'll keep it on there. So it doesn't really bother me too much. But definitely let me know what you think in the comment section below. Funny enough, literally, now that I'm looking at that, every single shot that I've said looks kind of stinky is all of the screaming head. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. Let's take a look real quick. Can we not enhance these images? I guess not. We have seen these before, I believe. Oh no, actually we haven't, my bad. Well, I mean, we kind of just saw them in the big promotional image. Usually you can click on these. I don't know why you can't. I guess we'll just do a little bit of a zoom shenanigan here and call it good. So yeah, this is everything that was in the promo, I think, except for maybe one that wasn't in here. Again, I think it's honestly just that screaming head sculpt. We'll have to take a look at it once we actually get the figure proper. I am still pretty excited about it. I think the other face sculpts look really good, and I love the way that they did the hair especially. That is one of my favorite parts about this figure. It's messy, it's giant, and I feel like it fits Kepler to a T. So we'll have to see what happens. I do kind of agree as well with the boys over at dbzfigures.com that the price tag is not the best, especially considering, like, you know, I said I got two. I've been buying two of SH Figuarts figures lately, but I maybe regret that decision now. I don't know. Regardless, though, moving on from our girl Kefla, the last thing we have to take a look at here is the Dragon Ball Adverge Motion 5 Wave 5 update. I said 5 too many times. 5. The new wave of Dragon Ball Adverge motion figures includes popular characters from the Saiyan saga, including Goku, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, Grade 8 Vegeta, Gohan, Yajirobe, and 2 Cybermen. There's also Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan Kefla. Not sure how the latter fits into the theme, but the Grade A Vegeta looks nice. First 6 figures, excuse me, are about $50 with the August release date, and the latter 5 are $95. Both are available at Big Bad Toy Store. Update the series revisits Goku and Vegeta's first encounter and the characters involved in the Saiyan saga. They should replace UI Goku and Kefla with Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. Agreed. Would have made for a better complete set IMO. If you have this pre-order, this should be releasing anytime now. Yeah. I am definitely not like too keen on the price tag of this bad boy. Obviously, like this is a little bit more understandable because it's like kind of, I think, what would that be, like 7-ish, maybe less bucks a figure, right? I was gonna say 10, but obviously it's not $60, so it's a little bit more understandable. Obviously, you know, $50 for, you know, all of these minifigures, it's like, oh, okay, well, even like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right? So you maybe like 7 each. I don't know, I'm not good at mental math, but this definitely is not worth that giant price tag. I feel bad for anybody who collects this line and is a completionist that's gonna have to shell out the money for it. That's just kind of an unfortunate thing with, I feel like, part of the state about Dragon Ball figure collecting is it's like you really don't wanna you know, like go out of your way to get these more expensive figures, but if it's something you need for your collection and it's a character you really like, then it's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna shell out the money anyway. Also, this was pretty neat. The Dragon Ball official site featuring some DBZ themed bentos made by Ryu. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that with the I in there, but very cool. And the website obviously has the recipes here, so it is nice to see this stuff finally releasing, rather, because obviously we've been seeing it for so long. I feel like this set too, excuse me, hydrate, is also just a good example of the whole like shenanigans of like, oh, if it doesn't have any Dragon Ball Super in it, it won't sell in the modern day, which I think is so stupid considering, you know, how crazy everybody went for this new Saiyan Saga Kuji. It's so weird to me that they like have this mentality. And also keep in mind, this is supposed to be the Dragon Ball Adverge motion line, not the regular Dragon Ball Adverge line, which granted they're just standing there and I know they're doing poses, but like they were so animated and dynamic in the first couple sets of Dragon Ball Adverge, and now it feels like they've really kind of stepped down in quality. Anyhow, though, thank you to DragonBallFigures.com for always holding it down. Of course, I will leave a link in the description below where you can check them out as always. And we are moving on to the boy Baggy's Twitter to take a look at some new prize figures, to take a look at some new Kuji figures. So, starting off from where we left off last time, the November DBH Kuji Japanese release date confirmed to be the 12th of November as expected. And apparently the Vegeta Blue, Ichiban show doesn't look like it's pre-selling well at all, which obviously kind of makes sense because, of course, you know, it's like, why? It's just another Vegeta Blue figure. I feel like it would have sold well if they would have released the rest in the West, which I still don't really understand why they didn't, but very, very odd, if I do say so myself. This was also an interesting tweet. I got asked if the original Grandista Goku and Vegeta will ever release. Answer is most likely not, because they would have to charge regular prize figure price, unlike the overpriced 2D / Neo. I predicted 2D Neo Super Saiyan 3 will be the next Goku one, which is really unfortunate, because if that happens, I might have to cop that, because I love the Super Saiyan 3 Grandista Goku. I really need to release my video on that. I filmed it a long while ago, but just never ended up like fully completing it. So I will at some point, but would not surprise me if that's the case. And I was right. Thank goodness we got the Ichiban show and don't have to worry. Yeah, it looks like 2 weeks we will know if the Kuji will release in the West. It doesn't. If it doesn't, then I suggest folks start saving up, because the Vegeta market value in Japan is almost 12,000 yen, granted 1 per slot. So basically he was saying it was going to be very expensive on the secondhand market. It's so weird with like figure prices when it comes to Ichiban Kuji and Bam Presto, because either the figures are really expensive and we end up getting a killer deal in the West by only having to pay $35 for these, which, like, keep in mind, this is like basically $100 $100 ish, 110. You know, rough estimate. Usually it's like 100 yen is $1 USD. Again, that's like rough estimate. So obviously, we kind of took a fat dub on this one, but sometimes when the market value for these figures are really low in Japan, then we take an L paying that much, but it is what it is. It's been over a year since the last UDM the best released in Japan. Given that DB barely gets one Gashpon released a month nowadays and the UDM price increase, assume it has ended. Dang, that is pretty unfortunate, actually. DB used to get 3 to 4 Gashpons a month. Now we get 1 if lucky. That's how far it's fallen. Very unfortunate. For example, August was Wafer Capsule 06 only, September nothing, new UDM in October only, and November nothing. Yeah, very unfortunate. I would actually like to get those 2 Zenos someday. I remember seeing that set a fat minute ago. Oh, I remember seeing these in the Hot Topic bargain bin. Season 2 of the DBZ bag clips, I believe, are already out in the US. If not, then soon. Yeah, I don't remember what was in the original set. I don't own any of these because personally these aren't really my thing. I did do a little video on some like Dragon Ball plushies a little while ago, but this is a little bit of a different thing. Obviously these are like bag hangers that aren't plushies at all. So I mean, these are alright for the people who want them. Like I could see a little kid wanting to hang this off their backpack, you know, like having a Goku or Vegeta hanging off their backpack would obviously be pretty sick, but yeah, I don't know. Not for me, but I mean, if you like it, then, you know, it's alright. Obviously, you probably don't want to be paying full price because I think they are a little bit expensive. But again, those Hot Topic bargain bins are the ones to really take a look at. So, this, we're not going to show you just yet because we had the brand new Kuji revealed. Oh, I can't believe it was this quickly already here. Oh! I am so excited for what I'm about to show you. Okay, so there is some stinky things in this. I'm not going to lie. But there are also some fantastic things in this set. So this is the brand new Kuji set. This is the December versus Omnibus. Starting us off, we have Blue Goku and Broly. Now, here's the thing, right? These figures aren't bad. But the problem is, not only could these slots have been taken up by some more interesting characters, obviously we have a million Dragon Ball Super Broly figures by now, we have plenty of good Super Saiyan ones, we even have some other ones in this pose. Again, this figure doesn't look bad by any means, but it's just we have so many of them, we don't need them. And as well, with the Goku and Vegeta here, we have the Tag Fighters one, which I think is infinitely better looking, which again, we will see that in a later tweet. And they're also on the ground, which doesn't really make sense at all for this particular scene, because obviously this is the scene in Dragon Ball Super Broly where of course they're in the air doing the Gallic Kamehameha against Broly. Obviously a super iconic scene from the movie, but they're not on the ground when they do it. Like I don't understand why they decided to pick that scene to have figures on the ground together. I don't know, very weird. But the rest of the set, we have some bangers. So, let me take a sip of water before I click next. Okay. Are you ready? Oh, baby! Oh my gosh! Oh, an Omega Shenron figure? Are you kidding me, bro? I don't think I've ever popped off for an Omega Shinron figure so hard than when I originally saw this tweet. I forget who I was with, but I was with somebody when this tweet dropped because I had Baggy's notifications on. And I saw this tweet, and I literally out loud went, yeah! Because obviously, we never get Dragon Ball villains, especially GT. And of course, considering how iconic of a character Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is, it only makes sense that they would have to release an Omega at some point because, of course, you know, he's the guy that he fought. And of course, Gogeta is a lot more iconic than Omega, but still, you need to have the boy in there somewhere. And so I am really, really, really happy that they decided to include him in this set. Fun fact, if you are a Dokkan player, this guy is the same pose as the physical chain battle boss card for Omega Shinron. It is just happens to be the same pose. I assume it's just a pose that Omega takes in the anime. I don't really remember it specifically off the top of my head, but obviously most of of the time they base that kind of stuff on poses, so makes sense. And then the kind of unfortunate thing with this one is that because they did include Omega, they have to do a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which, again, this Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta figure doesn't look bad by any means, but it's just like we really don't need it because we have so many great Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta figures already. And not to mention, I think someone in the comments actually pointed it out. Yes, we literally have the BOS Gogeta, which is literally the same pose as this other one. Obviously, the tail is on the other side, but it's the same pose. You know what I mean? So, kind of an F on that one. It is what it is, though. Obviously, if they're going to include Omega, then it makes sense that they're going to include Gogeta. I just wish that they would have done a better pose for the boy. So I probably won't be picking that up, and obviously won't be picking the first two up. But you know your boy's going to be picking up Omega. Obviously, as well, there is something else important to note here, that the first three figures here are Masterlized regular figures, which means they'll be $35. But because Omega is technically a Masterlized extra figure, which means he's a little bit bigger than the rest of the squad, he is going to be, I believe, $45 is the usual price for Masterlized extra. He should be the same price as the cooler from that recent movie Kuji that we got. So, very excited for this guy. I'm literally, my throat is drying up because I'm so excited about this. Now, wait until you see the next picture, bro, because yo, wow, I am really excited for this one. Let's talk about this. So, obviously, Trunks, super exciting, and that wasn't a Super Trunks joke. I didn't even mean to do that. Whoopsie. Basically, this guy is super excited because obviously we never get Super Trunks figures. I don't even remember the last time we had a Super Trunks figure. The only time I can even remember a Super Vegeta figure was the Final Flash one that just recently re-released. So this is super exciting, and the figure looks fantastic. Really, really like the look of this already. Love the bulky look. I cannot wait to get this Trunks. Very, very excited about him. The hair is probably my favorite part. Look at how giant and crazy and insane that looks. So cool. As well, obviously, we have a brand new Masterlized Extra Cell. Now, this is, of course, based off of that one specific panel from the manga. I think he also obviously hits the pose in the anime where he has his arms crossed standing there. And it looks really, really good. I am really excited to get my hands on this figure. Funny enough, I actually noticed the other day that in my collection, I don't have a single Cell figure except for, well, I mean, the figurized one, but, you know, like a Cell-like figure that's not a posable one. So I'm really excited for this, because I've actually been wanting a Cell figure for a fat minute because I've been wanting some other villains in my collection. Obviously, I have a plenty of different forms for all of Dragon Ball's various heroes by this point, so I would love some villains in my collection. I'm very excited to pick this guy up because obviously the Kuji quality figures are usually top-notch. So hopefully this guy turns out pretty good. Again, he's going to be a case like Omega, where he will be a little bit more expensive because he is a Masterlized extra figure. You can also kind of tell, I know it's not that big of a height difference, but you can see the heights listed on the bottom right. Trunks is 25 centimeters while Cell is 27, Omega's 25, and Gogeta's 25. I assume that's going to be because Omega's going to be more wide than the rest of them, because obviously Omega's build is very thick. Funny enough, Broly is actually going to be taller than Omega, which is pretty funny. And then we do have the Cell Jr. Now, here's the only thing. When I first saw this, I was like, yes, I am so excited for a Cell Jr. because obviously that is a character that we literally never have a figure of and we'll probably never get again. But unfortunately, it kind of dawned on me that he is going to get the Cybermen treatment. Obviously, on this series, we have been talking about that Saiyan Saga Ichiban Kuji for like a million videos now. Everyone and their mother is excited for it, bro. Even my mom, who doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball, is excited. I'm just kidding. But obviously, from that set, we had those Cybermen release. And we talked about, I think even in the last video, that like to recreate the scene with Nappa, Vegeta, and all those Cybermen was like $230 or 206 or something stupid like that. And the Cybermen by himself, really tiny, was $35. And I'm assuming that unless they really take our criticism into account, which is highly doubtful considering Bandai, This guy is also going to be a $35 essentially minifigure, which is really, really sad because that means that besides Omega and Cell, he's going to be the same price as everything else that we just took a look at. And of course, there are 5, right? 5 Cell Juniors? 4 or 5. My brain is messing with me if there's an extra one there or not. But that means if you want to recreate the scene with all the Cell Juniors, then you're going to have to get all of them for 35 bucks. Which really, really stinks. So, hopefully they reduce the price of this guy. Like, again, 20 bucks isn't the best for how small this guy is, but it's better than 35 for sure. I think this guy could easily be like a $10 figure, maybe 15 if they want to push it. I think that's probably the most that they should charge for this guy. But we'll end up seeing what happens when we get more information about this Kuji coming up. Obviously, you can see on the bottom here, too. Obviously, this guy's going to be pretty tiny compared to the rest of them, considering he is only 10 centimeters tall. Extremely wild. Now, there is a couple of other things. Oh, right, I forgot about, like, the craziest part, too. The final image and the final figure is a Ultimate Shinron figure. Wow, I did not see this coming. Never in my life would I think I would have woken up to a tweet with an Ultimate Shinron figure. This one kind of blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Omega is definitely a lot more likely than a Ultimate Shinron figure. Obviously, this guy is going to be huge because, of course, and we'll take a look at that tweet in a second, he shares the same sculpt as one of the previous Shinron figures, which I still need to get my hands on because that figure is fantastic. But I really, really want to get this guy because obviously any of the figures that are dragons are not only sculpted really, really cool. All the monster sculpts for ICHIBAN Kuji are done fantastic. You know, obviously an Ultimate Shinron figure is like unheard of. So I am actually pretty excited for this, despite this being literally the same figure as the other Shinron. But very cool stuff. So let's take a look at everything else we have revolving around this. So a couple of other things. Japanese release is mid-December, so Ichiban show listing should drop next week. That will probably be covered then in next week's figure news video. I am really, really hoping that they drop all of these guys for Ichiban show. Obviously, then we can just pre-order them normal. So this is the thing that I was talking about. Obviously, this is just the, like, you know, same figure as this Shinron here, which, again, I still need to cop. I don't know. I'm, like, a little bit on the fence about this one because, like, normally I'm kind of a stickler for reusing figures and reusing assets and figures for stuff like that, which, again, we'll take a look at some of that, unfortunately, is present in this Kuji. But, like, I don't know. I mean, this one's such a hard one for me because, like, I'm like, on one hand, it's like, yes, they could have done a different sculpt for this guy, but on the other hand, like, I kind of understand because it's just Ultimate Shenron, and I don't know how many people will actually be excited for him, and it's like, it is Shenron, so it's like, they could just do another coiled up pose, which would have been nice, but I don't know, I feel like this one's a little bit more excusable. Like, I agree that it is still kind of scummy, but, like, this one I'm really on the fence about. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. Now, this, though, is really inexcusable. We have had this same stupid legs for Goku for, like, a million figures now. And honestly, I am almost thinking that the only reason why they decided to make this Goku and Vegeta figure here was literally just because they were like, oh, what can we milk this same leg pose out of again for the millionth time? Like, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if that's Bandai's mentality with this. Now, obviously, you can see that there's a little bit more rip on the pants, but it's like, whoop-de-frickin-do, you know, how big of a deal is that actually? It's still the same thing. I don't know, man. I'm sick of them reusing these legs. And, as well, here's more proof, if you needed it, that they have reused these legs a million times. Obviously, that is the, I believe that's the, one of these is the ultimate variation. I think that's the Ultra Instinct one down here. I think this is the, oh my gosh, it literally just fell out of my head. Maximadic Goku, and then I think this one is, forget what the Ichiban Kuji set, but this is obviously the one that pairs with Frieza. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very conflicted on this one. Because obviously, it's like the figure isn't bad, and I don't really think these figures are bad. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of all of these, maybe except for, like, the base form one, but this is getting ridiculous at this point. Like, I feel like they're just making Goku's in this pose just so they have an excuse to reuse these legs. Very unfortunate. And, as you can see, there are a lot of reused parts from this Gogeta here. Literally, the lower half beside the tassel is basically reused for this figure. Of course, the face sculpt is a little bit different, and the hair sculpt may be the same. It's kind of hard to tell because, of course, his head is tilted back, so it's a little bit of a different angle. But it does appear that they literally just took Gogeta's arms and put them down. Funny enough, the one on the right there, the greatest Saiyan Gogeta, is actually my favorite Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta figure of all time. I think it's fantastic. So it's kind of a shame to see it almost made a mockery of with this new figure here. But yeah, this one, there's no excuse. I don't have anything more to say because it would just be me repeating myself. And with the boy Broly, this one looks to be, I think the hair is the same. It looks basically the exact same to me, but obviously the face sculpt is really what kind of sticks out to me here. The legs could also be reused, kind of hard to tell with this screenshot, but it looks to me that the exact same hair is used, and obviously, you know, the face is, you know, literally the same. So, yeah, very unfortunate for that one. Thankfully, though, literally, like, all of the figures that I don't care about are the ones that have problems, which is kind of ironic. So, except for Omega, I guess, but Dub, I think. This one is also a little bit goofy, as you can see here. Because of the lower half reuse, this means it'll be the first Broly movie Goku figure that doesn't have the rounded boots. They come in a pair, so you have to have this dumb Goku even if you just want the Vegeta, and it'll probably knock you out $50 like Goku and Frieza. Because keep in mind, just like they did with Goku and Frieza, they had it so that instead of it being like $35 a pop, you got the set for $50 instead. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, that kind of really sucks. I'm not even going to lie. Because obviously now we're even losing accuracy to the movie. Because the whole appealing thing about the Goku movie figures was that, of course, they were a little bit different than your average, you know, Dragon Ball Super Goku figures. Because, of course, you know, they had a little bit of a different aesthetic to them. But now, because they're just reusing the feet from this other figure, it doesn't have the proper look. I don't know. Very, very weird. I think he also does talk about the tag fighters at some point. Maybe we'll get up to it in a minute, but again, the tag fighters already exist, so there's kind of no point for this. 7 out of the 13 figures in the last two Kujis have been reused in at least some capacity. Literally just fed up. Yeah, I can understand being fed up with that. Obviously, you know, we've kind of taken a look at all of these, but here's a quick overview of everything that's sort of been reused. You can kind of pick and choose in your mind what pieces they sort of reuse. There's a lot of things that they definitely, you can see right off the bat, but even some minor things that if you look a little bit deeper, they definitely reused here. And it's gotten to the point where things no longer make sense. Goku's no longer accurate to the movie. Broly's hair is supposed to be different, etc. At least before the reusing was making sense, but now the designs aren't even following what they're supposed to be. Yeah, because obviously the Super Saiyan Broly hair design is different from the full power Broly design. And I know that this doesn't bother some people, but it's like, and I know for some people it's also like, oh, well, you're just being a purist, or it's like, oh, well, you know, it's not that big of a deal. You know, people, they reuse assets like this all the time, excuse me. But it just shows that they're lazy. They're taking advantage of fans, is I feel like what it really comes down to. Because it's like, oh, well, they'll buy anything just because it has Dragon Ball on it, so we'll sell it to them anyway, even though we know it's bad, and we know what we're doing is wrong. So, yeah, it's a very unfortunate state that we've gotten to. But I am still excited for the rest of the figures in the line. Moving on, though, man, I'm really looking for that Tag Fighters tweet. I can't believe we haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it'll be right there. Where are we here? Trunks is branded. Oh, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Trunks is branded under regular Master Life, so he should be the $36 standard. Cell is Master Life Extra, so expect him to be like $45, just like Cooler, which is what I said before. However, Goku and Frieza from May expect to be $50 because obviously, you know, just like Goku and Vegeta, they're a dual pack. So, That actually technically should have been flip-flop, but I think you understand what I'm getting at here. Moving on, February Dokkan was easily the best 680 Kuji this year by a mile. Good lineup, unique figures with effects. Best of all, every single new one was a sculpt. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. Man, that God Goku figure is still so good. Talking on the whole, because some of the other 860 yen ones have had good stuff in them, but the whole for those Kujis have been rather disappointing. Like the new one we got with Perfect Cell, but if we got the other two forms instead of Broly, it would have been better. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Obviously, the Saiyan Saga Kuji was also a fantastic one, too. But I think that's technically like a different year. All of a sudden, Gohan doesn't seem so bad at 36 bucks now. Wow, that is reselling for basically 100 smackers. That's pretty crazy. All right. Oh, here we go. Finally, here's the tweet. A lot of people saying Tag Fighter is better. I completely agree. For one, the design is accurate. For two, the sculpt. And for three, it's actually suspended in the air and not on the ground like a Kuji, which makes no sense again. Yeah, same applies to the Broly and the Rising Fighters one. So yeah, this is the Tag Fighters figure. I've reviewed this figure on the channel. There's my GIF. I love this figure. I think it is a perfect representation of this scene, and I don't really think there ever needs to be another figure of this scene again, because it looks great. The sculpt is fantastic. Goku and Vegeta look great. Obviously, the gimmick that they can be on one stand is amazing. And of course, the fact that they are actually floating in the air, you know, is accurate to the scene. And then why are they on the ground? I don't understand. I also personally just like the face sculpts a lot more for these guys than I do this one. And you can also kind of tell, right? With the movie designs, again, those rounded boots that Baggy was talking about. I know Baggy always talks about his boots, and it's kind of like, in a way, it's almost like, you know, I know some people are probably like, oh, you know, it was whatever. But at the same time, again, it's accuracy and caring for what you're actually creating. But either way, yes, I definitely think that the Tag Fighters one is a way better figure. It looks more correct. Obviously, Vegeta is supposed to be higher in the air, and they're like back to back, whereas they're on the ground now. And obviously, it would be really weird if they just made Vegeta super extra tall. I don't know, man. This one's just a whole big mess, if you ask me. And then, of course, we do have the case with the Rising Fighters Broly, which a lot of people really, really like this figure. I believe this was from the Dragon Ball Legends Kuji. And then, of course, it's like, it's just very similar, and it's like, I don't know, they probably just reused the armor from this, put the legs a little bit closer together, and then maybe put the feet down. And obviously, you know, they of course had some different like hand assets for this one, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I think in this case definitely more so for the Tag Fighters one compared to the Kuji one, but yes, I agree with the Broly one. So yeah, pretty crazy if I do say so myself. Alright, so this is also a little piece of Dragon Ball history here. The ICHIBAN Kuji exactly 10 years ago for December 2011. Many people would probably agree that Yamashita's Frieza still holds up. Heck, probably better than most of the modeling in the new ones. Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. The modeling on that Frieza is pretty crazy, if I do say so myself. And it shows you that they didn't have as many figures back in the day as they do now. Yeah, so here, this is also something that we've been talking about on the channel for a little while. This was obviously the re-release of the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum Cell. Excuse me for bumping the mic there. Where these re-releases are definitely not random, because every time they do a re-release, they make a figure of the character again, or like just they make a new version of the character. You know what I mean, right? The re-releases are kind of a hint as to what characters are to come. So I am excited to see that the boy Cell definitely got some love here. For Japanese and Asian and Australian fans, should get lot ratio soon. Given the lineup amount, only one figure will be at 2. The rest will be at 1, so let's hope something lame like Broly isn't as 2. Yeah, let's hope that Omega and Cell and Super Trunks are definitely the ones that are a little bit crazier. Alright, so this was also kind of insane. Obviously, this we took a look at in the last videos in terms of the numbers for these figures, but putting these numbers into perspective, here are the Sega store numbers for April 2019. Incredible how far it's dropped. Yeah, that is like almost double and triple in some cases. Absolutely insane, if I do say so myself. 144 would be amazing now if it wasn't the lowest here. Yeah, crazy. Okay, moving on up here. This is a really cool box, despite obviously we've talked about this figure being overpriced many a time on this series. Like I said, the 2D Grandisa should be out this week in Asia. No S or MSP, however. Look at the box, though. That is really cool. I love the way that they did the Ultra Instinct aura. Obviously, these Manga Dimensions Goku boxes are always so cool because, of course, they have the proper background for the character and, of course, windowed box view. Really, really like that. Looks like a Tournament of Power setting in the background, and of course the Ultra Instinct aura there. And more great styling as well in the text. Of course, the text is Japanese for release. It isn't releasing in Japan. Yeah, they always tend to do that, huh? I see a lot of Japanese merchandise with English text and a lot of English merchandise with Japanese text. Very goofy. Not long until the extra costumes release in Japan. Hopefully the finals are good. Yeah, I'm really hoping that they're good. Y'all know that I'm really excited for that. Case in point, these BR Goku blues were all digital design rubbish, but at least they adhere to the design. I technically, I don't agree that they were bad, but I mean, I understand what he's saying, that they were all like reused assets, right? And they're all digitally created rather than hand sculpted. I'm a huge fan of this figure personally, but the point that Baggy's getting at is that even though, you know, there was some shenanigans going on here, they were accurate to the design, which is fine, right? If they're going to reuse it, at least make it accurate. I mean, it's not fine to some degree, but in this case, you know, I understand where Baggy's coming from. Moving on. Oh no. Him. He looks awful. Let's take a look at Omacha Hedgela's quick little images of this guy. We're not going to spend too much time on him because we've seen this guy a couple of times now. Y'all know how stinky this figure is. Y'all know how ugly that face is. I don't know if this is Trunks or like a Trunks' long lost like second cousin twice removed, bro. I don't know. Such a shame, man. I was really hoping the Solid Edgework slime was going to be good too. Okay, moving on. We need to get out of that. The Master Stars piece Goku was a game changer for not only figures, but with the large size modeling by Nakazawa, but the paint job too, as Makoto came up with a 2D version as for the KOC contest. Yeah, remember that figure, seeing it after I got into Dragon Ball figure collecting in terms of history. I would love to get it someday, but it is bootlegged to heck, so. Alright. This was also something interesting. So we saw this cardboard cutout a little while ago, but as you can see here, next cardboard Kuji cutout from China, pick credit unknown. Part of me is glad it wasn't Super Saiyan God, since it would have been impossible to get it. So if it doesn't exist, I feel better about it. Yeah, this was of course for the, I think it was the Omnibus Z set with the Goku and Frieza. Chinese Dokkan 6th anniversary poster, a promotional poster rather. All this is further emphasis that Asia will never get standard Ichiban show, i.e. buying figures individually ever again. I do like this poster though, it is pretty neat, if I do say so myself. It's always interesting seeing the promotional material for our favorite figures. Okay, so this, speaking of which, speaking of promotional posters, the Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji, November Kuji ratio lot confirmation, sample, look at the smaller prizes, and confirmation will be there. There will be a DBH original card like previous Kujis. Interesting. I actually don't really remember that. I don't remember there being a specific card for them. That is really interesting though. This is also kind of hard to see the actual lot ratios. Can we see this in here? I don't know if we can decipher this. Yeah, it kind of looks like not. Unfortunately, the image is a little bit stinky if I do say so myself. Unless I'm just missing it here, you can let me know in the comments. But it does look like, oh, there's the cards. Okay. Yeah, it looks like cards are going to be the prize G, cups are going to be the prize H, and I think those are towels are going to be prize I. It looks like Gogeta, and I can't really tell what that is. So it'll be interesting to see what the smaller prizes end up being. Oh, they're right here. Dummy. So 2 for Broly. Let's kind of cross-reference here. 2 for Broly. B is Vegito, which is going to be 1. C is Vegito, which is going to be 1. Okay, that one's not that bad. D is Rose. Thank God that's 2. E is Goku, which is going to be 1. F is Kranoa, which is going to be 1. And then 16 for G. That kind of makes sense considering that that one would be the lowest if it's the cards. Yeah. Okay, so thankfully Rose is high, even though Cronoa and a couple of the other ones that I really want are not. 6 weeks on, and some game stations still haven't sold out of Ritsuden. Yeah, the stinky figures we've taken a look at time and time again, the Goku and the Rose. Yeah, very interesting to see how that line has really fumbled the bag. Gohan was made in Vietnam. Anyone rather, excuse me, have the original to compare quality. So again, we did take a look at this in the last figure news video, and a lot of these figure remakes have been made in Vietnam, which unfortunately we've kind of realized that stinky, because that Solid Edgeworks Trunks was a product of Vietnam. But interestingly enough, this is what the original figure looks like, and then I guess I can just pop up the re-release for comparison here on the sidebar. I will do a side-by-side once I actually get the figure, but just for a quick side-by-side, this is the re-release and this is the original. It could just be the lighting in this room, but I do kind of like the colors on the re-release. I don't know if I really like the black line for his mouth, because obviously y'all know I prefer when it's kind of not there and it's more subtle. But overall, I mean, I don't think it's that bad, if I do say so myself. So yeah, definitely not a bad looking re-release, especially considering it came out of Vietnam. Alright, so this week we should get December Ichiban Show listings, if they're releasing as Ichiban Show, of course. A lot, and lot ratios, excuse me. Full September Wafer sticker lineup, and BTTF smaller prizes, and the Elo Broly version revealed. We will have to see. I'm definitely excited for that Yu-Gi-Oh! Kuji as well. Very much so hoping that that ends up coming over to the States. We have some other series here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this was also another interesting thing. 3 weeks, and some game stations are still struggling to shift their Bam Press World Figure Coliseum Bardock stock, it seems. Very interesting. The July Saiyan Kuji released a week later, with some game stations reporting that it's sold out, but not Bardock. That is pretty crazy. Yeah, Bardock has definitely been on the decline in terms of popularity. Alright, so Dokkan 7th anniversary, Goku and Vegeta Super Saiyan 4 prize figures scheduled for January, and with the December Kuji having Omega and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, seems unlikely that the anniversary will be GT. However, this is under the assumption that we are still getting collab figures. If we aren't, then this means nothing, which is correct. February figure, actually I should DM that to myself. I'm going to like that so I can do that later. February figure information should be revealed by early October, so we will know then if there will be a collab figure or not. And we actually do get to see these figures in this video, by the way. Alright, so let's see. We have this, which was interesting. The quality of these US adverts is absolutely disgusting. $25 for these. Yeah, it's a little dicey, I'm not going to lie. All the scuffed up paint and whatnot, like, I don't know, man. Maybe I sound like I'm an old head here, but I feel like the Adverge line used to be really, really good. And it's kind of a shame to see that it's come down to this quality at this point. Found out recently some Japanese fans refer to the bad promo artist as that, which translates to mumps? Interesting. Huh. Very interesting. Well, I guess we'll be calling him that now from now on. That's pretty funny. Alright, so the last 3 Ichiban Show listings dropped on Wednesday, so we should hopefully get the December listings tomorrow. Which, obviously, that tweet was on the 17th, so we will see more information about that in a fat minute, I believe. Looks like the Zenkai Saw will essentially be a posed masterpiece series. Shame it'll just be Goku. So, if you are unaware, essentially, before Super Master Stars piece, we had the regular Master Stars piece series, which of course, you know, came from this Goku originally, which was a big game changer for figures. And it looks like that this is essentially going to be just a posed version of this line. Very cool seeing these side by side again. I would love to get this figure. Even though it is a very basic Goku figure, it means a lot in terms of Dragon Ball figure history. So would definitely love to cop that guy at some point. Oh yeah, so this was also something interesting that happened. High quality December Arise drum pictures. These are 25 centimeters and a ridiculous 20K each. 20K. That's 200 smackers, my boy. That is pretty wild. I honestly cannot believe that anybody would be willing to pay that much for this guy. This is another one of those things, kind of like the Piccolo Daimao, right? Where it's like, it's a good figure, but for that price, it's like, huh? Yeah, very ridiculous. Funny enough, this guy actually talks about it. If I bought Drum, I'd feel compelled to buy the King Piccolo as well. Ain't no way I'm paying $400 for that guy. Yeah. They're good-looking figures, but 100% not worth that price. It also, I don't know if they have arm articulation or if that's just gapping there. It's kind of hard to tell. These guys are premium Bandai figures, by the way, from the looks of this comment here. Japanese premium Bandai. Surprisingly, no one wanted this ugly guy, and is indeed made in Vietnam. However, it wasn't like the original production image was great to begin with. Yeah. This was, I believe, the original production image, because that's the box. And then, yeah, I mean, the base form one definitely looks better than the Super Saiyan one, but I don't think either of these are really great figures, unfortunately. Okay, moving on up here. This was interesting as a little piece of news for the upcoming Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum. Looks like they're after new sculptors, and some folks speculating this may have replaced Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum, this thing called FSR, which is Figure Sculptor Rookies. If it means less reused stuff in the future, then I'm absolutely down. And apparently they intend to keep the winners on here. We're planning to request the award winners to make prototypes of our products, but the award does not mean that a transaction with us will be completed. If the conditions, etc. are discussed and agreed between the company and awarded winning person, a transaction related to the prototype product will be concluded. In addition, we do not guarantee continuous prototype production requests to these award winners. Very interesting. I'd like to know where Baggy got this piece of information. This does look like one complete little promo image here, because obviously the Bandai logo is right there, so it kind of looks like it caps off at this little banner. But very interesting. I will say it will be kind of a shame to see the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum go away, but if it does mean that we get some more diversity in our figures, then I am 100% all down. I'm also curious to see what that hand is. Is that a figure that we've already seen before? If someone in the comments can let me know. I just can't identify it right off the bat here. Moving on up, though. Yeah, there was the Boy Endeavor. Hello, Pikachu. Obviously, this was all the new Pokemon stuff came out. And then we had... Oh, yeah. So, animation upcoming OGDB pajamas for adults. Honestly, low-key... If these are like as cool as this looks, I might cop if this is for a good price. So we'll definitely have to see on that one. These were all of the Kepler pictures that we already saw already. Again, we've kind of talked everything that we're going to talk about them, but obviously I'll just pop them up real quick. And moving on up, this was also a very interesting piece of news. So we finally found out what the last one figure is going to be for the Broly for the Back to the Film Kuji. And as you can see, there are some smaller price samples, Shintani redraws. Let's hope it's not Mums. Also, LO Broly will be metallic. Now, if you are unfamiliar, basically, I did want to get it, I guess, is what I was going to say. That's where my brain kind of trailed off to. But this is sort of the same thing that they did with the original King Cluster Broly, the very first one that released for the Broly movie Kuji. Basically, they just made a metallic version of the regular figure, and obviously, you know, it's okay, because it's like, on one hand, it's like, well, now I don't have to go out of my way to collect a new figure. Because obviously when the last one prize figures are a completely different character, then it's always a hassle to try and get your hands on them. But at the other hand, it's like most of the time the metallic one does look really cool. And I mean, at least with the original one, I think I preferred it to the regular one. I mean, they're both good for different reasons, I suppose. But in a way, it is a good thing, and in a way, it is a bad thing. I think it's more of a good thing than anything, because now it's not another figure that we have to, you know, go out of our way to get, because most of the time we never get the last one prize figures here in the States. So, definitely very good. I, again, would not really recommend going out of your way to get this guy, because, of course, he will be super expensive, despite the fact that he's just going to be a recolor, and the regular Broly will just be the standard 50 smackers. Moving on up here. Oh, right, real quick. Actually, let's talk about the smaller prizes. These just look to be some basic stuff here, actually. It looks to be coasters. I think this is an ID card holder, and these look to just be clear files here. So kind of basic stuff for an Ichiban Kuji. And again, Baggy was saying that it kind of looks like redrawn stuff, and we do get a little bit, excuse me, of a confirmation of that. Sorry, that was the inner pain that I felt upon seeing the redraw that you'll see in a little bit escaping. All right, September Wafer stickers, full lineup. Thanks to the boy DBS Hype, as always. These look really, really good. I really, really am excited for this set. I really hope I can get my hands on more of these some days. I need to find like a reliable place to get these, because the problem is when you're getting bigger stuff shipped from Japan, typically it's harder to get a gooder price on shipping. Gooder? Yeah. So obviously we have the boys fusing into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here, which is cool. Some very nice family time and more, you know, like just the whole gang type of cards here, which I really, really like. Obviously we have the scene with Gohan and the two ladies. We have Krillin and his wife 18. We have all of the gang chilling on Shinron here. We have Goku and Gohan, then of course Super Saiyan Gohan. Vegito and Zamasu do look cool, even though obviously we have seen them a million times before. And even though we have seen the Super Saiyan 4s, I guess a little bit less, they still do look cool fusing there. And these look awesome. Really, really like the look of these. I love what Wafer Set 3 has been doing for the Wafer sticker series. They've been doing some absolute crazy stuff in terms of the more rare stickers, and I gotta say I really, really like this. I wonder if they glow in the dark. It does kind of look like that this image implies that this somehow transforms into this. Again, I don't know Japanese, so unfortunately I, you know, can't tell you that with 100% confidence, and it does kind of look like these glow in the dark. I don't know if I said that already, but we obviously don't know that for a fact. But regardless, they look really cool, and I'm going to be very excited to see some final images of these stickers for sure. Wafer stickers always knocks it out of the park every time, so it's unsurprising to me that they look really good. And we actually have another page here. Obviously, these are some other lesser rare stickers in the set. We have the boy Nappa. I do like that Piccolo as well. Ooh, Kaioken and Galican. That's pretty cool. Obviously, we have Yajirobe, Sin Shinron. We have all the Shadow Dragons here. Wow, I'm kind of surprised that they're all there. I guess it makes sense if Gogeta's the cover boy, though. We have some Goku Black Saga stuff, obviously Kaioken Goku, and then of course we've seen these figures a million times with the minifigures of the sticker set, but some good looking stuff in here, if I do say so myself. I really, really like the look of these. Obviously this is more of a classic sticker look with that weird like rainbow pattern on it, or like jagged pattern. I don't really know how to describe it. It looks cool though. Always excited to see the new Wafer sticker stuff. Oh yeah, so this was interesting. Wasn't expecting Kepler to release so soon, although I'm not particularly feeling expressive faces. I do prefer this space the best. Wow, me and Baggy agree. Let's go. Part of me is also kind of disappointed we didn't get a base form head for 60 bucks. That should have happened. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think if they would have added a $60 price tag on one that came with a base form head, then I think it would have been a little bit more understandable for the price. Obviously, they did that for the effects. It's like, even though I like the SH Figure Arts Vegito Blue and I love all the effects that it comes with, I still don't think it was worth 80 bucks with all the effects. I think it would have maybe been worth more like 60. Hair and Goku is flowy goodness. Ah, yes. Very, very cool. Love that a lot. All right, so this was very interesting as well. Did Baggy ever respond to my tweet on this? I don't think he did. No, didn't I comment on this? Or did I quote retweet this? I don't remember. No, interesting. All right, so basically, the Vegeta from the Back to the Film, Kuji, right, has his hand changed, which is very interesting. Left is the original production image, and right is the new image from the poster. I don't really know how I feel about this. Like, on one hand, it fits more. I don't... Huh? I don't really know how to feel about it, because it's a very like slight change. It doesn't really do much for the figure overall in terms of the change, but it's still something that's like notable enough to notice it, right? I do think I like the original one better. Yeah, and then here's confirmation of the change with this like actual final image of this. His face also looks a little bit different from the original image. Like the eyes look more out. Like in the original one, they kind of look more like deeper into his head. I don't know. His face definitely looks a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the original pose was fine. I don't remember off the top of my head what the actual pose looks like, whether his other hand is, you know, like in this pose or in the other pose. I don't think either one is like necessarily better than the other. It's just very, very weird. Moving on, though, September JJK Kuji full lineup got revealed today, so tomorrow should get the whole Back to the Film lineup review with the smaller prices in high quality. Fingers crossed it hasn't been redrawn by Shintani. So yeah, this was also a very interesting development. So I'm sure that you guys remember, we obviously had the announcements of the Tag Fighters Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. My hope, and literally the only way that I would buy these guys, was if they were doing the fusion pose, which would have been fantastic. I don't know how they haven't made a figure of that yet, by the way. But this is what we ended up getting. I don't know what to say about this. So, for one, this is, I believe, a scene in the anime. If I'm remembering this correctly, they're firing ki blasts at Sin or Omega, whichever form that he's in at that point. So it kind of makes sense, but it's like, out of all things you could have had them being together, this? This is what you pick? Huh? So weird to me. And it definitely looks like in this comment section here, it looks like that, you know, they're kind of just shoved together like the bases. Like the whole point of the line is supposed to be tag fighters. It's figures that are like connecting together to make a greater scene together, right? But are still good separately. So weird. Like, I get it, but it's also like, eh. And here's the other dumb thing about this one, and is the main purpose behind Baggy's text in the tweet. If y'all remember, this is the FES Goku from a little while ago that we were all like, I don't know about all that, bro. The final one, thankfully, looked a lot better than the original one did, but why would they make this if they just made this, or vice versa? Why choose this pose? I don't get it, bro. Like, the figures are definitely different. And I don't know if I like one more than the other. Well, I mean, okay, I'm talking about the final for this one, not this piece of garbage that they showed originally. But, like, I mean, I do like this sculpt for Goku, and I think that the Vegeta figure looks great. There's a lot of people who also kind of agreed with that, and even Baggy said later that he does really like the Vegeta. But, like, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. Why do this as the togetherness, you know? It just seems like such a backwards way of doing things. You would think that they would make a figure that would actually connect instead of just being shoved together. So weird. So here we have the smaller prizes. Again, I do believe that these are ID card holders. These are unfortunately some redraws here. We do have Gogeta and Gogeta, obviously Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. But of course, we also have the two variations of Broly there. We have, ooh, I actually do like that Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Oh, that's really cool. That's Broly movie Goku and Vegeta fusing. I actually really like that a lot. I'm assuming this is like you flip it over and then that's what's on the other side, because that would only make sense to me. And then obviously we have some Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z art there. Oh, that's Metal Cooler. I could not tell what that was. And this is a bunch of Dragon Ball symbols. And then of course we have the boy Shinron there. That one's really funny with the Metal Coolers there. It almost just looks like a really weird edit in Photoshop. Anyhow, those are those. We also have these, which again, I'm assuming are coasters, but these do look like rubber. So interesting that they decided to do square ones and circle ones. I mean, these do look really cool. Like, I really, really love the Dragon Ball one. Beerus sleeping is really cool, but it is weird that he's the only one with text and kind of stylized this way. The Broly and Gogeta one are cool with the Dragon Ball on the side, and obviously the Cooler and Goku one are really awesome. I love that kind of face-off dynamic there. I'm assuming that these are coasters, but it's so weird that they chose rubber over like what they did last time. And then we do have these, which are these clear files, and unfortunately a lot of this has actually been redrawn. I know it's kind of hard to tell from like just looking at it like this. It's weird that they have Super and Z in here, but I guess that makes sense considering it's kind of like a mix of the movies in the actual set. But these are redrawn, and I know it's again really hard to tell, but Goku's face definitely does not look correct there. That looks like a little bit of our boy, the bad promo artist at work. Vegeta's face also looks different. If you've seen that piece of art, I think you would recognize right away with Goku and Vegeta that they look a little bit off. Excuse me. So it's harder to tell with the rest of these too, because obviously, again, I'm not as familiar with these arts as well off the top of my head. But definitely that one is redrawn, if anything. It's like hard to tell if this one is, you know. But yeah. And then this is the last one, Broly. As you can see here, this is the sort of metallic paint job that they have going on for my boy. I really, really like this paint job, honestly. I think it looks really, really cool. Again, I don't know if I prefer this. Here, let's open this in a new tab and then take a look at the regular one. I don't know if I prefer that to the like actual color scheme. It's a little bit harder to tell on that one, unfortunately. I think that's the only image that we have like handy right away. But like the colors on that one are more, I guess they just pop more. They're a little bit more vibrant. Obviously his hair is just kind of more shiny. Really what's the big difference, of course, is the darker purple pants and mainly Ba's ear, as well as the green tips there. It's harder to see on this, but I mean, I think if you've seen this figure before, you can kind of recognize how this is different. I do like it a lot. It almost kind of looks like AstroTurf actually on Ba's ear, which is kind of interesting. But again, unfortunately, this thing will be really disgustingly priced to import. So honestly, the alternate color scheme is just not worth importing unless you could get it for the same price as the regular one. But yeah, regardless though, still definitely a cool variant, but thankfully we don't have another figure that we need to go chase from the Japanese market. Anyhow, moving on up though, here is some more images of Goku and Vegeta. As Baggy says here, Vegeta's okay, but Goku is awfully dreadful looking. The lame bases, this release already stinks. Yeah, very interesting that these guys are kind of going to be our start to 2022, because that's when these are releasing. Like a lot of people say, the Vegeta does look really good, and a lot of people really like it. I think the Goku's okay. I think that it's definitely not as good as the Vegeta, but it just feels very average. Like, this would be a Vegeta figure that I would maybe consider getting on its own. I mean, the last time I did that with the Chojin Giga line, I really regretted it, and I haven't even opened up that guy, and I'm probably just going to sell him. So I don't know. We'll see, because my luck with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is not that good in terms of figures. But, I mean, I like the way that the base looks. It's pretty cool if they keep that sort of smoke effect, although I definitely think that they could do better. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just really, really weird that they chose to do it this way. Very interesting. Here we go. So here's what I was talking about with the redraw. Of course, as you can see here, you know, it's a little bit pixelated because, of course, we only have this like super stupid zoomed in version, which, I mean, again, that's no one's fault, but, you know, they just haven't released a high quality image of it yet. But obviously, you can see that this is redrawn and not close to the original. Goku's eyes look a lot more lopsided than they do here. Like, this looks like he's cocked his eyes to the side and looking forward. And this looks, well, stinky promo artist at work, if I do say so myself. Funny enough, a couple of people in the comment section were kind of, you know, not too pleased and or confused about the issues here. But, I mean, obviously the coloring is a dead giveaway, too, so... Yeah, I don't know. Kind of whack, if I do say so myself, that they decided to redraw these. Like, it's just so confusing, because it's like, why wouldn't you not just use the original image? I'm sure you have the high-quality file there somewhere, and then just slap it on that boy, instead of making some poor intern redraw it. You know, I don't know. Very weird decision to me. Anyway, here's some more angles of the Goku and Vegeta. Goku is definitely a lot less dynamic than Vegeta. This is a really, really good angle, and obviously this is more akin to the final flash. It is pretty cool as well that his tail actually goes up rather than to the side. I do like that a lot. Apparently Goku is 17 centimeters and 12.5 is Vegeta, not taking into account the base. Interesting. Yeah, and this is also just early information, and we have not seen all of the January information yet. So yeah, Vegeta looks really good. This would be a figure that I would honestly consider picking up. But it's definitely not like something that I'm absolutely fiending to pick up. You know what I mean? Alright, and then here are the high quality production images with the bigger, badder, more correct colors. This is quite interesting. I mean, I do really like the color scheme that they went for. I really like the gold on Vegeta's boots. That really pops a lot. Again, I just think this is so dumb for a Tag Fighters thing. Like, Super Saiyan 4 figures already haven't been selling well for a while. And I think we have plenty that are, you know, really good. So it's just so strange to me that they would do this. Because I feel like, again, if they would have done the fusion pose, I think that would have been almost guaranteed to sell. So, I don't know. So weird to me, bro. Anyhow, obviously here are the more correct colors for the production images from all angles. Again, I really like the gold on Vegeta's boots. I might cop the Vegeta just to replace the Chojin Giga one that I was going to crack open. Because honestly, I do really like that Vegeta. High quality shots of the Vegeta. It's a pretty solid sculpt, most likely Takanawa's work, aka the master sculpting Vegeta, so no surprise. Yeah, definitely makes sense. And I think that the face looks really good. All of the different pieces of this figure look good, if I do say so myself. Boots look perfect, fur looks perfect, gloves look perfect, face looks really good. Yeah. If it's Takanaka's work, then definitely doesn't surprise me because he's really good at Vegeta. And it will also be interesting to see just owning the figure, having it sit next to this guy on the shelf, because obviously both are Final Flash figures. Alright, so here we have a side-by-side comparison. I don't really know how to feel about the change to the Vegeta. If it really didn't need the touch-up, Frieza or Cooler needed it more. Yeah, very weird. And here, actually, we have the actual screenshot here. First pose was better, less shiny, and was more accurate to the pose. Yeah, that is literally the exact pose that he's hitting with the original hand pose. I don't know why they changed it. Very weird. It also looks like they made his armor a little bit like... The actual armor is darker, but the like clothing underneath is a lighter blue rather than the black from before. Really interesting. And his face sculpt definitely looks a little bit different. I feel like it's more lame on the new one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a bad figure, but it's just so weird that they literally just took the hand and twisted it to the side, because this isn't a new hand, it's just, you know, twisted. I don't know, maybe there's some way that like you could adjust it. Hopefully if that's the case, and maybe I could just like twist the hand. I assume that's probably not what's going to happen with this guy, but I don't know. We'll have to see when we get more final images. Alright, a lot of potential ratios, but not for a trusted source, so waiting for a double source. I will say, if it's correct, a lot of people won't be happy. Oh boy, that's not a good sign. Alright, so upcoming DBS merch from, I don't even know how to pronounce that company, so I'm not going to try. I don't think I've ever seen that blue Goku render, though, before. That's an interesting... Oh, look at his face! Look at the top of his head! Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Literally bulging out. I assume it's because, like, it's kind of like... you know, a little bit squishy on the actual bag. It looks so funny though, out of context. This is pretty cute though. I definitely like that. That's a little coin purse, and that's a backpack. I would cop that backpack easily. If I see that in the store, I might actually get that. That's really cool. Very, very nice stuff. Apparently, the character can release in a Western card game, but the figure can't release in the West. Yeah, very weird. Very, very weird indeed that Cronoa is not getting released over here, since she's literally the star of Xenoverse. Alright, so we finally have some of these images of these boys here. Talking about Adverge Motion 5 released in Japan today. AMA still has them in stock. Prototype, no bases versus finals with the base. Still confused why Silver UI was chosen. Yeah. So these are the prototypes, and then these are the final versions of the figure. I do have to say, I do think these look a lot cleaner in terms of the kind of messy details on these guys. It could also just be that it's a little bit farther away, but I do think I prefer these a little bit more. I do love those clear bases. Those are very, very cool. And yeah, again, no idea why they decided to do MUI Goku. It is very, very weird. I don't understand. But of course, Kepler looks alright. Her face is a little bit weird. I think it also might just be the angle. It's kind of weird that there's not a bigger hair tuft up there in the middle. But nonetheless, still okay looking. Again, if you're into that sort of thing, then it's definitely for you. I will say, one good thing about this, though, and maybe it's just because it's the Adverge line, is these bases are a lot better than the original Dragon Ball Adverge figures. The original Dragon Ball Adverge figures just had these stinky little, like, just bases that slid in between the feet. Literally, I have an Adverge Blue Gogeta in my computer, and I've not taken it out of the casing yet because that thing cannot stand up to save its life. And I love that little minifigure, but it just cannot stand up properly because of the small base. Anyhow, yeah, talking about shooting yourself in the foot next month, FES completely pointless for those who interested in the FES. Literally no one is getting it. Just wait until January. Yeah, there is literally no point to get this if you're going to be getting this one, because if you're going to be getting both, then why would you not just get the, you know, Tag Fighters one? I don't know. I understand it's a little bit of a different pose, but it's basically the same thing. Oh, okay, so the lot ratios for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Kuji, again, very excited to see if that actually ends up coming out. Here's the box for the Dragon Ball Adverge Motion. Looks very good. Obviously, these boxes are always really stylized, so definitely like that a lot. December Candy Gummy product is more DBH card gummy, images from previous. And yeah, here's basically everything. We actually took a look at this, I believe, oh, hi, Broly, in the more recent Ichiban Kuji V-Jump, I believe. I like that Vegeta a lot, and I like actually basically everything here, which makes sense because I think those are the rarest cards in the set. Very cool, though. Very nice. I've gotten a couple of these myself. I don't think I've ever gotten Dragon Ball Heroes in, though, but I've definitely gotten some gummy stuff. Oh, yeah, the boy Baggy copped this, which was pretty cool. All right, so we have some release weeks for the different figures here. Scheduled to release in December, we have... here, let's translate this tweet so we can actually get the proper stuff. Oh, well, I guess it's technically here. So Shinron plush and Chi-Chi week 2, Gogeta and Vegeta week 3, and Goku week 4. Shinron has the same one they released in December 2019, except his mouth is open. Oh. Huh. Interesting. And I guess a little bit of a different color scheme as well. I would love to get that because I have a Mega Rayquaza plushie. That would be awesome to have them side by side. All right, and finally, it looks like we are done. Obviously, this is just a quick comparison of the Bam Presto Special Selection Goku, right? The BOS one. I was trying to struggle to say the name of the line, and then I realized I didn't want to say it because, you know. Anyway, just a quick box comparison. I definitely want to get this figure at some point because this is a fantastic Goku figure. And that is all we have for this week of figure news. I hope you guys enjoyed lots of crazy stuff this time around. I still cannot believe that we are getting an Omega Shenron figure. I am always like, I'm kind of glad to see that honestly Broly ended up just being another color variant, because obviously then we don't have to go out of our way to collect another figure. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what your favorite figure was from the coverage from these last 2 weeks in the comment section below. I'm always curious to hear what you guys have to think about whatever is coming up. I'm so excited for this Omega Shinron. I'm definitely going to cop that, the Super Trunks and the Cell from this set. But without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.